Hello and welcome to Midlife Moments with Dr. G. I'm Dr. Georgina Hale, specialist medical doctor and PhD in midlife women's hormones. So today I wanted to answer a question: is how do I know I'm about to start perimenopause or go into menopause, or am I anywhere near midlife or late reproductive age? Okay, so there are criteria to help doctors particularly in sorting through where someone is in their progression from midlife to perimenopause and menopause. Now, this criteria is called the Stages of Reproductive Aging Workshop, and I go through this in my new book on page 12. But because it's complex, it involves a few sort of parameters, and it has 10 sub areas of stages. I have stepped down the stages to incorporate 4 zones only. So the first zone is late reproductive age, where you don't notice a change in your menstrual cycle length. And zone 2 is early perimenopause, where you start to notice a change in the cycle length. And strictly it says it's your cycle length has to differ by 7 days in consecutive cycles. Well, as long as they're sort of short and long, I think you know you're in early perimenopause. So zone 3 in the book is late perimenopause, and that's when you start skipping cycles. So, for example, a cycle length of greater than 60 days, for example. And zone 4 is menopause, where you haven't had a menstrual cycle for 12 months. So the question would be, well, I've got regular periods. How do I know I'm anywhere close to perimenopause? Well, it turns out that there are symptoms that do indicate that you might be going towards perimenopause. In other words, your hormones are starting to change because your ovarian follicles are starting to go down, and certain symptoms can indicate this. And some of those are mood changes, irritability, feeling overwhelmed, and a lot of people start to feel depressed. There's aches and pains, abdominal swelling is a big one, midriff weight, and some people get heavier periods, about a third of women. So there are some indicators, and I go through these in my book. In section 1 I explain what the zones are, and in section 2 I talk about the symptoms associated with each of these zones, so that you can, even if you haven't got a uterus, you can sort of work out where you might be in terms of the zones. Now, there's very little research on the symptoms associated with coming into the perimenopause, so late reproductive age, but Nina Coslov has done a lot of questionnaire studies, and she's published one already, and she's actually undergoing a second one. So I would encourage anyone between the ages of 35 and 55 to have a look at participating in that questionnaire study, and I'll leave the link below in this email. And as usual, let me know if there's any particular subjects you want me to cover. Until next time. Next time I'm actually going to talk about how you might more of the symptoms that may tell you that you're coming into perimenopause and menopause if you haven't got a uterus. Okay, see you next time.